on the other one, you bastard!
X2 Toys is a weird company. They latched onto the Titan Master gimmick that was present in Titan's Return and never truly let it go. Don't get me wrong, the few products that I've seen of theirs and the few products that I own of theirs, they are fantastic, from what I know anyway, but they do really have a weird niche that they're going for. But they do seem to have a rather high level of quality, and that is evident when they try out new things. And they do definitely love trying out new things. First impression on these guys. Wow, they are ridiculously tiny. But that doesn't mean they don't pack a lot of detail. For example, the Starscream over here, well, it's a remarkable little F-15, or at least an approximation of such. The sculpting is minimal, but it gets the job done. But there is still a lot of paint here. Lovely yellow paint that is done amazingly. Gunmetal paint, blue paint, red paint. Unfortunately, these side bits are stickers, and I applied that one kind of poorly. Would have been lovely to have that be tampographs, but it is what it is. There's not a lot to say about this Starscream, aside from the fact that it is adorable because it is so tiny. They even managed to keep the underkibble fairly simple for the size, although you can see the entire robot mode is under there. One thing I absolutely love, though, is that they've got the null rays molded into the wings and they fit on perfectly. They're ball jointed in, so they can't really be removed, but they don't need to be removed. They work remarkably well. There's not really much to say about this figure, aside from the fact that they were able to take this and mold it into a tiny little figure, and it's really commendable. It's not like they're copying an original toy, they're doing this entirely by themselves, even if they are using a template from another figure, which I'll get to in a bit. Jetfire is slightly more clunky in his design, but he still manages to do quite well. The one thing that really sticks out is that this section remains a bit hollow and unfilled, but that's primarily because of the transformation. A lot of folding goes into the backpack section, and you can fix it anyway. He does come with two guns that are quintessentially Jetfire, you know, having the two guns on the top of it. That is who he is. So I guess the Siege version kind of omitted that because that wasn't in the cartoon, but it's nice that they have them here. And they do draw your attention away from that hollow section there. And again, magnificent paint. Red paint, white paint. No stickers on this one. I absolutely love the clear blue plastic they've got for the window there. It's a remarkable little detail. They've even got silver paint on the hinges over there. Fantastic. But the real detail that gets me going, they've got a tiny little molded gun that's painted black on the bottom. They did not need to do that because that's the bottom, but they did it anyway. Man, that is absolutely magnificent. I mean, I guess I could complain that the feet kind of stick out the back on these two, but at the tiny scale, there's not much you can do. And I really mean tiny, because it's only 5.5 centimeters by 4.7 centimeters. That is ridiculously small. And Starscream's even smaller. He's also 5.5 centimeters, but it's only 4.2 centimeters wide, so he's even more tiny. Like, these guys are basically dwarfed by your standard Legion figure, standard Legends figure, standard Earthrise Micromaster, and Crumbs. Like, these guys are ridiculously tiny, and the fact they put all of this detail in place, it's commendable. Unfortunately, this comes at the cost of a transformation that uses any real parts. It's all faux parts. Yes, scream in agony and terror, faux parts, oh no. But it still works quite well for the size. You fold back the nose cone on Starscream, fold out the legs. They don't tab in, but they do remain quite solid given the tolerances. The arms don't do anything, but you want to rotate the wings around 180 degrees. And finally, rotate the head around 180 degrees on the ball joint. And there you go, tiny little Starscream. Unfortunately, you do need to get rid of the guns on Jetfire to make it transform, because the backpack goes through a lot of transformation. You want to get the feet out of the way first so you've got some space. Rotate the back part here, and then you'll notice while the wings are flush, the hinges themselves are not, so you can actually fold this one first and then this one second, and they fold remarkably cohesively. Finally, the nose cone folds out the back, keeping everything locked together, and then the head rotates around again, just like with Starscream. And in the weapons, you can either put him in his hand like a gun. However, because these mirror the larger Sky Crusher leader class version the X2 Toys did, they actually act as axes as well. That's not a callback I thought I wanted, but it's a remarkable callback nonetheless. And again, these things are ridiculously tiny, yet they pack so much detail. You can already see that there is an immense amount of blue and red paint on Jetfire, and the same on Starscream, and clear parts all around. These guys are just amazing. And they don't share many parts either. The only shared parts that I have found are the feet. Those are identical between the two. But it's all unique molding, despite the fact that they actually share their body type with the standard Headmaster design that X2 Toys made up. This Headmaster mold is designed to fit with Titan's Return figures, because that was X2 Toys' shtick. Compatibility with Titan's Return, even though Titan's Return was many years ago. Seems like you're trying to milk something that just isn't there, mate. It doesn't seem like a good idea, but whatever. These guys are still amazing. Again, these are faux parts, but at the small size, there's not really much you can do, and they're using an existing transformation system and using something else around it, which is still remarkable. These guys could have turned out terribly, but they turned out amazingly. The articulation's also surprisingly good, with a ball joint at the head, ball joints at the shoulders, and ball joints at the elbows, so you get the full arm rotation. Ball joints that acts as an ab crunch as well on the waist, then ball joints at the legs, although they are a bit fragile, and a knee knee bend, and a ball-jointed foot. So there is an amazing amount of articulation here. Although given the tiny scale and the fragility of some of the joints, I really wish they had included these magnetic stands that come with these standard robots. Granted, the standard robots you can get for $2, so these stands aren't hard to come by, but it really would have helped tie the set together. And that's not to say that these guys have any trouble standing on their own, because they are balanced as well as they can be at the size, but it would have been a lovely, lovely thing to include. Anyway, both of these guys are 4 centimeters tall, but Jetfire is 1.5 centimeters wide, and Starscream is roughly 4.2 centimeters wide. And just to show you how ruddy tiny they are, here they are next to a standard Legion figure, a standard Legends figure, a standard Earthrise Micromaster, and Crumbs. And if that was all these guys did, that would be pretty cool. But as stated earlier, they are based on the X2 Toys Titan Master system, which means, of course, these guys have a trick up their sleeve. Now, with each figure, what you want to do is take off the backpack like so. Oh no, parts forming, except it doesn't affect either individual mode, so it doesn't really matter. And then over the bottom, you attach the included faces. And you know what that means? These guys transform similarly to a Titan Master. Now, full disclosure, especially with getting the backpack on, it's not as elegant as your traditional Target Titan Master whatever thingo, because you got so many joints to deal with. Like with Jetfire here, you can actually get the knees to bend backwards, but for some reason Starscream doesn't. Maybe Starscream's issue is just a QC issue on mine where the legs won't go the proper way, but who knows? At the very least, these guys, nah, these aren't very good heads. The lips are so puffed. It's like Siege Impact, but worse. I guess at least Jetfire has a retractable visor, but Jetfire is primarily designed to have the helmet go over him from the larger Sky Crusher toy, and it doesn't work. But they are compatible with standard Titan Master figures, so if you want to do a custom job, they could kind of work, if only their faces were a bit better. Not really the best compatibility. But you know, that's not the point. The point is these two turn into fantastic vehicles and fantastic robots, and the fact that they turn into heads is just a bonus. You don't need to worry about that. I still recommend them, even though the Headmaster gimmicks are somewhat disappointing. When I purchased these guys, I thought, huh, that's a neat concept, but when I received these guys, I realized that they had done a fantastic job with them. It seems like something that would turn out stupidly bad, but the way they've executed it is remarkable. Again, they fit into the novelty toy category, but as a novelty piece, they are remarkable. They would practically be perfect if they had that magnetic stand that other Titan Masters that X2 Toys has released come with. But they don't, and they're still fantastic either way. But that begs the question, where is X2 Toys now? Well, unlike a certain other third party that made triple changing Headmasters, the result is a little less interesting. As previously explained on this channel back in earlier reviews, they are all over the place. They found a niche that wasn't really there weren't many fans of that niche, and they stuck to it, but they went all over the place with several figures that didn't really fit in with anything else. And as a result, well, they seem to have fallen off the map. Granted, it is the apocalypse in 2020, so information is scarce to begin with, and they haven't been raided by Hasbro, so it's unlikely they've been absolutely killed, but I just feel the money's not there, and I wouldn't be surprised if the company had gone bankrupt. But that's fine, the toys that they did deliver were fantastic, and I will be forever grateful for them. However, some companies disappeared for different reasons. Sometimes the proof is right there in the shit-filled pudding.